Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show. This is Good Ass Conversations, Art and Life, and I'm Taylor. And today I'm with Annabelle. Do you go by anything else or just straight up Annabelle?
Usually it's Annabelle.
Okay.
My friends from college always called me Belle.
Okay.
My family calls me B-Belle. B-Belle is my Instagram handle.
Okay.
But Annabelle is the baseline.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so just in general, how can people find you? Is it just mostly through Instagram?
Yeah, it's _B-Belle_. And
Okay.
then I just spent the last week working on my portfolio and my website.
Oh, cool.
Which felt like a really significant accomplishment, because it's always a struggle to choose an image and a sort of singular way to present online, and you don't know who's going to access that or how. But anyways, I did that this week, and that's lightenglass.com.
Oh, dope.
Light and Glass. Yeah.
Congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What did you use to make your website?
Wix.
Wix? Okay.
Quick Wix. Yeah.
Cool.
I really appreciate their feature that animates the elements on the page, because then scrolling the website feels a little more like an app or a game.
Okay.
You
like a lot of like animation and stuff like
movement, the pictures roll in, the text fades in and out, that kind of deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very humbling to do that process though, because I majored in journalism in college and did plenty of communication stuff. And I did a communications and marketing job for a year and a half after that, and I was using HubSpot, but I was doing all the social stuff, website stuff. So I went into this project thinking, no problem, I can build a website in an afternoon. It's gonna be so simple.
Yeah.
And a week later, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know if this is half of what it should be. But a different season and a different time, and a good way to re-up those skills real quick.
For real.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your online presence just in general, and navigating, creating a portfolio and sharing your work?
Oh man, so the portfolio in and of itself was super simple. I have glass that I made, what you could say is in the kitschy hobby world. Okay. And then I have my apprenticeship portfolio in leaded glass. So it's the two types of stained glass are copper foil and leading. And so displaying those in an image gallery is pretty straightforward. But in terms of Instagram, man, it's a mess.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's definitely not a unified vision or anything. It's just sometimes the past couple months it's just been monthly photo dumps or video dumps.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a good reason now to start honing that in a little bit, but the motivation is so low.
Why do you think that is? It's you'd rather focus on other things? It's that's just not super important right now, or?
I think there's this thing in my head that's saying if I curated more, it wouldn't be genuine. And I think I'm talking Instagram specifically. The website is pretty locked in. It's pretty I build windows. Here's my portfolio. Here's my resume. It's a pretty tight image. But Instagram, it's I think that when I produce more work, the work will speak for itself. And I'm not too worried about that. But trying to do it preemptively before I've done the work feels like I'm just a poser. So
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a heads up, I'm just gonna ask a bunch of questions. You're welcome to answer what you want, and if you don't want to answer anything, you can just say, "Nah, I'm cool." And then you're welcome to ask me questions too.
Say less.
So, is your primary medium like working in stained glass?
It is.
How did you get into doing that?
How did I get into stained glass? I wrote up a list in like late 2019 of things that I could do with my hands that would get me out of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people picked up like COVID hobbies. So I guess it was sort of in that same vein. I just had been working an office job and that kind of disintegrated. And I knew I liked to draw.
Uh-huh.
I knew I was happy at that one ceramics class I took that one time.
Uh-huh.
Little pieces like that were like, I like these things, but I don't know the first thing about like what mediums could facilitate my like the way I want to grow, you know, in those areas, or what piqued my interest about them. So I was like, you know, everything from underwater welding, you know, because scuba diving, or you know, doing like woodworking or whatever. I just kind of went through the gamut and had like 20 things down on a list. And then over the span of about a month, I just kind of did a Google deep dive on each one and like what materials went into them and vloggers who did them, and it was like stained glass far and away. So there were several reasons for that, but from there it was just like I popped into the local hardware store, which doesn't have any stained glass specific materials, but they had a soldering iron.
Oh, cool.
You know, so I just put together a little picnic basket with my things and went home and put a towel down on my kitchen table and cut my first sheet of glass.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
What was your first stained glass piece of? Was it just geometric?
It was I was going to give a different answer, but I realized that was the wrong one. So my first window, like rectangular shape that had a border on it, was clear glass with an E in the center.
Okay.
My little sister's name it starts with an E, so I was going to do that for her.
Yeah.
And I swear there was like an 1/8 of an inch gap in between some of the glass, and you know, the soldering was like not soldered, and you know, all of that. You know, in the glass, I had access to a tile grinder at the time in the shed nearby, so I ground it with like a tile grinder, which didn't work.
It didn't work at all?
It helped, but it also like broke some of the glass and then didn't grind in other places. Anyways, I just didn't know how to use tools.
Was it like a grinder that had like a wet, you know, it was like a wet grinder?
It wasn't. No, it was, it hadn't been used in years, and I didn't know how to use it either. So maybe it was meant to be a wet grinder, but I did not use it that way. But I think I put together a cross first. Okay. That was the first one. It was like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like long thin lines, and then like a little triangle at the edge of each point. And I left that with someone in Virginia. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing, but that's what it was.
Why is that embarrassing?
Because, well, I mean, it's just a reflection of like my brain at that point, is like of all the creative things you could do, you know? Yeah. But I guess it's like the universal symbol that glass like is associated with.
I feel like
in
the
institutional
connection
ways
between religion and stained glass is like so tight. Like any sort of religious iconography is like, yeah, that's chilling. Like that's typically what it goes with.
That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's the story. And what's really cool about the scene in the glass world right now is there's technology that's helped with this, but to detach the glass from the church identity.
Oh yeah.
And to create and develop the medium in other ways. There's some people who say that, like, you know, post-Renaissance or whatever, like after the sort of illustrative painterly standard was set, that like people identify art with painting, like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
kind of the anchor in our imagination.
Absolutely.
But like there's a potential to, and this is so biased, but like there's a potential to re-anchor it in glass because of the dimension that we can bring to art with light. And that's endlessly fascinating to me, you know.
Do you do painting too?
I've tried it.
Have you tried like painting out pieces that you'll turn into glass pieces?
Like prints, like,
No, like
tracing them or what?
making like paintings, and it's like, oh, this is going to be like a rough sketch for like a glass piece I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a sketchbook full of drawings.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a painter. I have touched watercolors and I've touched gouaches
Yeah.
and acrylics, but I cannot paint to save my life at this point.
Really? I feel like working with glass would make you like a better, I don't want to say painter, but like
Yeah.
someone who's good at like mixing colors.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I feel like working with light and glass would give you like a complete different relationship to color and color mixing.
It has shaped, my thinking about color a lot. Definitely. The painting I've done so far usually begins with what we call like trace lines.
Okay.
So there's like a lot of different ways to paint on glass, but the standard is like enamel paints. So you like put the pigment in with like a little bit of gum arabic and some water, and a lot of people will start with an image printed and then on a light table place the piece of glass on top. And then trace, so they call them trace lines, or what you lay down, and then you'll put like a mat on top that's like so you'll fire the trace lines, get that set, and then add another layer. And then with that flat mat covering the entire piece of glass, then you'll start going through and taking out highlights. And then start seeing where the light's going to come through. So it's kind of like opposite painting.
So you scrape out highlights?
Yeah.
That's cool.
You can do it with a brush or a stick or your whatever you've got in your trash can, you know.
So like a subtractive method.
Very much so. Very much so.
That's dope. And then
Yeah.
can you layer on top of that?
You can fire it as many times as you want. Yeah, like so I did like my first piece. The paint department at Willett was so gracious to me. They would let me just come in for open studio and just be there all day, you know. And for the amount of time I was there, I didn't produce a lot, you know, but I started with an image of the Vitruvian Man.
How does that go again? Oh, the Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah,
multiple
so that's
arms.
the most widely used version of the Vitruvian Man, but it's been done so many times. And the image I found was
Does it come from somewhere else? Was like Da Vinci not the first person to do that?
so Vitruvius is the man.
Okay.
I mean, not the one in the image, I don't think, but he was a Roman architect. He wrote De Architectura or something like that.
Have you read it?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've like read little selections online, but it's just kind of like a deep dive on architecture and proportion, and you know, like back then, like in the classical mind, I think all of that, like geometry and
Absolutely.
the nature of the world, was all very deeply connected, and you talk about it kind of all in the same breath. But anyways, I picked a an Italian version of the Vitruvian Man from like the 1500s. And I didn't know how to paint on glass when I started. So each layer was like an experiment in working with that technique. So like the first layer I put down were the black trace lines, and it was very much just like a Gothic cartoon, you know, of like a figure. And I tried to like put some hatching in there, and it was pretty rough, but you know, at some point you got to call it and put it in the kiln, and it fires in, and then the paint is a part of the glass. And then I think I went in with 3 matte firings to try to add some depth and value. And at the end of that, I was pretty close, but the people I showed it to just kept saying like darker darks, lighter lights, darker darks, lighter lights. Yeah. And so I did a last layer with like a water-based medium, which is a lot more malleable. It doesn't dry as quick, so you can play with the paint for a lot longer. Anyways, yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it took me a couple months, you know, just coming in on the weekends, but I'm really grateful for that, because like I'm sure it's the same way when you're painting on a canvas. It's like endless varieties of techniques and tools that you can use, you know, to get where you're trying to go. So just to play with those.
I feel like with glass and possibly painting too, like a lot of people are very fascinated by like the old masters, you know, so it's like one of those things that just seems tied to tradition. So well, like, yeah, there's like an endless amount of how you say it, like techniques.
Yeah.
Like there's like well-traveled paths.
Yeah. Yeah, that work. They do work. But the medium keeps evolving. And where people used to paint with enamels or water-based mediums or whatever, people are painting with color now, and fusing more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a big scene for that there's a company called Bullseye Glass.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, you know about Bullseye. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they're developing what's called like compatible glass. So, you know, glass fire or fuses at like different like coefficients of expansion, is COE is what it's called. And you can put 2 pieces of glass together, but if they're not the same COE, they'll fight each other in the kiln, or shatter, or, you know, do weird stuff. So they've developed like a whole range of colors that work together, and that means you can apply them to the glass and create without using traditional paints. So it can come in either sheet glass form or ground down into a powder called frit. Or produced like in a vitrograph.
Never heard of that one.
Dude, so it's this like machine that you mount up on a wall or wherever at some kind of height, and then input whatever kind of colors or frit or, you know, like whatever glass that you want, and then it produces it in like a cylindrical hollow tube.
Oh, cool.
And then you can like shape that tube down to like little squares. You can do like confetti, fuse that down. I mean, at this point, it's like if you can imagine it, there's a way to produce it. Yeah.
And you feel like fused glass is getting like more legitimacy in a certain way?
Yeah, I think there's a guy from Rome. He lives in Mexico now, but his name is Narcissus Quagliata, and he started out with more traditional stained glass, but he's done some really significant work around the world in fused glass, and that's kind of gave it some legitimacy.
Oh, cool.
And he's putting in some real work to pass on that method and make it more accessible, you know. It's like anyone who's got access to a kiln, like that's all you really need. But like the concept of fusing gives you the ability to add dimension in a way that one sheet of glass doesn't do.
Yeah. instead of like graphically creating dimension, or I guess like optical coloring or something like that, giving it dimension.
Yeah.
It's like 3 dimensions. Like
Yeah. So I brought, there's so many ways to try to add dimension. You can paint. I brought this
Oh, that's dope.
that I made yesterday. So this is 3 pieces of glass stacked together.
Cool.
And that's a method that,
So like what we're looking at right now is like it's a bird, and it's like flying through the sky, and there's like a sun behind it.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
It's very cool.
So another way to add dimension is what's called like plating.
Uh huh.
So you just stack glass on top of each other, you know, different sheets. And
And that's fused glass, what you have in your hand?
this is not fused. No, this is
That's
just
the plating?
Yeah, just stacked on top. Well, it's actually, yeah, it's just copper foiled, but I have a blue piece on back, and I just used a Dremel to take out the sun,
Yeah, yeah.
and then put a piece of red on top so that in that transparent spot it looks red,
Yeah, yeah.
and then took out the bird from the red sheet. And then because I don't have a kiln right now, I put a clear piece on top so that the engraved bird doesn't pick up any like, I don't know, dirt or residue or whatever and sit in the engraved. But ideally you could like do what they call fire polishing, so it all sort of smooths out and looks a little more glossy. But like the concept of a piece of glass not just transmitting light, but like where the light hits it, it houses the light for a second and sort of spreads that through the glass and out, diffusing it, you know, in a different kind of way. Someone else who worked with sort of changing the game in that arena was Tiffany. So
Like the Tiffany's New York?
in the same family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's like the one that's known for all the lamps.
Yeah. Tiffany
Yeah.
lamps.
So up to that point, glass was mostly like transparent, see-through,
Oh, really?
and he put a lot of time and energy into developing opalescent glass that's like not transparent.
Huh.
So
I always thought that was like a French thing for some reason, like, or like Italy, because I know there's a lot of glass work that goes on in those places. So I never had assumed that it was, you know, something that's like maybe like 100 years old or less than 100 years old from New York.
yeah, I mean, like, where was the first piece of opalescent glass created? I don't think it was him. I actually have no idea.
He was just like a pioneer in this regard.
Yeah, he really popularized it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the change was like previously to get a design, you either put lead lines down or you paint to portray an image. And he was able to add colors to glass in a more complex way where each sheet of glass has more going on in it.
Oh, whoa.
And, you know, in that way you can like do landscapes or depict something with a little more depth and complexity than just putting a piece of blue by a piece of red, you know? Yeah.
That's cool. So, it's like, was he good at developing like thin sheets that he would stack, thin sheets of glass, or was it?
I mean, I don't think that was like a focus. I think the really buttery thin glass is produced in Europe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's all they call it mouth blown.
Okay.
It's like, it's essentially what they do is like, they have big blown glass cylinders.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it looks like a big vase or something. And then you cut off the ends, either end, and score it down the center. And then the whole cylinder sort of unrolls, and then you press it down into a sheet.
Well, it's still hot?
Yeah, and then it anneals. And so every piece of glass is like unique, you know, which is pretty incredible.
That's cool. I like worked in a glass shop for a minute, And I never really seen how glass is blown, but it really feels like you're manipulating lava or something like that. So it's crazy. Very elemental, you know, like fire is a big component of glass.
Yeah, it really is, and it's kind of counterintuitive. But I think that's what's like intriguing to me is like it can take so many different shapes, and it looks like freaking water.
Sometimes,
you know? Yeah. Yeah, Judson Studios in Los Angeles has done some really cool fusing work too.
Really?
Yeah. They helped produce the Resurrection Window in Kansas, well, in Topeka, Kansas. And that's supposed to be like one of the largest installations. And that was like kind of right at the pioneering point of the fused glass world. So they brought Qualiata in to help. And there's this guy, Tim Carey, who's like a former trained painter who was also like leading the charge with the team on that. And he's like since developed a whole school and like identity as like a fused glass artist trying to help promote it. And he's doing some really cool work too. So it's great to see these people like in their own little pockets just trying to share the education. And you know, like in the industry, each studio is very like well, the whole industry is antiquated. It's hard to find a stained glass studio with a solid website, you know, to say nothing of like their ability to communicate the skills. And if there are certain skills like specific to that studio, you know, passing it on is like a huge hurdle.
Yeah. Do you think they operate like that because they just have their set clients and they don't have to really spend a lot of time marketing or like scouting for either new clients or new workforce? Is it like that, or is it just like, how can I, so like in the world of printmaking, sometimes a lot of printmakers just want to be by themselves, like solo. And that's sort of why they get into it sometimes. Like people who do letterpress by themselves. So it's like they'll build up enough clients and then they won't do anything else. It's like not until one of their clients dips do they have to do any sort of outreach. They won't have websites sometimes. They're just that dude like in the cut or that girl in the cut, you know?
That's exactly it, yeah. I think a lot of glass artists were nuts, you know? And to like put effort and energy into marketing is like so the antithesis of like the craft. Kind of like what we were saying about Instagram or whatever, like the work will speak for itself when it's done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like so for example at Willett, like in the Catholic Church community, you know, there's sort of a network where that their marketing kind of works for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like with the LDS Church, you know, you lock in a couple contracts and I think the word spreads pretty quick. The communities are pretty tight in terms of who's building.
Have you ever done anything for like Jewish temples or like Islamic mosques or something like that? I don't know if mosques have stained windows or not.
Oh, the Islamic stained glass.
Yeah.
So I don't think Willett did any work in that sector, but the bits of Islamic stained glass I've seen online, and that's really the only place I've seen it, is it's next level.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What takes it to that next level? Is it just because of their use of geometry and stuff like that? Or is there also like an element of color or like technique that's like not normal to what you might find in, like you said, the Catholic churches, stained glass, or the LDS, is that? Yeah, the LDS is stained glass.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it from a Catholic perspective, it's like you walk in a church and immediately you have this image of a bloody dude hanging on a cross.
Yeah.
And there's like a story that's being told to you in that image.
Yeah.
And when you walk into an Islamic mosque, you see rainbow and geometry.
Oh, yeah?
And I don't believe you're supposed to depict Allah in any like pictorial, form.
Yeah, you're not supposed to, like, little secret. Because have you ever looked at, like, Islamic book painting?
I've looked at like painted patterns and stuff, but not for books.
Yeah, there used to be, and there might still be, like, a whole school of painting devoted for painting in books, and they're miniatures. So I don't know if they were making like little plates that would be like reprinted in books, or just like printing one-of-one little paintings in books that eventually got reproduced with like more modern printing technology.
Yeah.
When I was in school studying Islamic art, like 2013, 2014, there were still like schools where they would teach people how to paint specifically for books.
Beautiful.
But in the older paintings, they would have little paintings of Allah. But it's like a very, like, because it's like taboo now.
Yeah.
So they don't really like talk about it that much, and it's very old. So
was this like a like in the European world, it's like illuminated manuscripts?
It's similar.
Okay.
I think that they look a little bit like Chinese tapestry paintings. Definitely like, I can't really speak on materials.
Okay.
Sometimes they're like sort of watercolor-esque.
Yeah.
But definitely just like a different color palette, different approach to line work and depiction. I feel like illuminated manuscripts like have a similar graphical style to stained glass sometimes. And I don't think that some of the tiny paintings in books, like the book painting from the Middle East, would translate to stained glass. There's more gradients and just a lot of color sometimes, but like muted color,
But when you say gradient, my brain goes, we could do that in fused glass.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't have a picture in my head of what you're talking about.
Well,
Maybe
just
I should
relating
Google it.
old to old instead of like old to new.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I think what's mind-blowing about the glass I've seen in the pictures online, at least, there's a sense of just like the whole room being saturated in rainbow light.
Oh, cool. And
you really walk into like another world. You're like just straight through the portal.
Yeah.
And like just bathed in colors. And I think that's the distinction, is like in the European tradition, it's like you're meant to look at a story and you're being told a story versus entering an experience,
Well, I think with the cathedrals, and some of the churches, they're totally designed to have like a physical experience. I remember studying some of the architecture of like the old cathedrals, and it's like, like the geometry and how the chambers were designed and how the main room was designed. It's all supposed to create like a religious experience, like a heightened euphoric experience. I don't know that that's like really carried on through a lot of architecture into like modern buildings, but it does seem, I can only say like a hypothesis, like me guessing. It's like with mosques or those kind of rooms that you're talking about being bathed in like a specific color of light, they're still keeping that going, keeping that strong.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a whole rabbit hole to go down on architecture
Yeah.
especially in the Gothic cathedrals. But pick your tradition of ancient architecture that harmonizes frequencies to create a certain experience, and I think glass is just like one element of that. The way light filters through, but yeah, everything from the stonework to like even later on, like when organs were in churches too. Yeah, it's definitely like providing a space where your physiology is actually changed by the shape and the structure of the things around you. It's like pretty mind-blowing.
Have you ever been in, so it's like, I've been in spaces where the space itself makes me feel different in like a positive way. Like Grand Central Station, like it makes me feel a certain way that I like, and it's like having a certain height of ceiling and being in the space is like, oh, like this is different. Like, have you ever had any experiences where you've been in specific spaces and it was like distinct and unique, like what you're experiencing physically just being in that space? Like, do any of those come to mind, like off top?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny because when you say that, I'm like immediately feeling that feeling.
Oh, really?
But then I'm trying to pick out locations in my mind, and it's harder to conjure up. Let me let that one simmer.
Okay,
Yeah.
Have you ever, so have you been into like a lot of churches or like religious-based buildings to like observe the stained glass and stuff like that? Where have been some of the more interesting ones that you've seen? Like, what part of the world or what part of the country?
So, let's see. The glass I've seen, I've seen plenty of the local stuff. Southern California.
Okay.
There's a really cool one at the monastery across the valley. I forget what it's called, but it's done in like they call it like dalle de verre. So it's like super thick slab glass.
Okay, yeah.
Like 2 inches thick or whatever, or more. And it's cut into large chunks and then done in a more mosaic looking style with like a cement-ish that binds it together. So that one's like a sort of creation style window where it's just this mega blast of like yellow and red surrounded by like blues and greens and like this sort of cosmic, just, I don't know, swirling sort of, universe. That one's really cool, but the rest of the stuff I saw was mostly on my road trip out to Minnesota. So I went to Phoenix and saw a few things there. And then the Resurrection Window in Topeka. There was a really cool cathedral, Grace Episcopal in, or maybe that was the Topeka one. I forget what city the Resurrection Window's in, but anyways, that one was just the scale of it kind of overwhelming. Like in the Christian world, like the phrase, there's a great cloud of witnesses.
Oh, really?
That was something I never really felt physically until being in that building, where it's just, you're lined everywhere you look. It's a being and like a presence. And that's something I really like. It sometimes kind of scares me with glass, is like when you depict a tangible image, you kind of bring it to life in a different way. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's the same way in painting, or like the concept of a doll, you really like bring the, you call in this, I don't want to say like a spirit or whatever, but the image, and an image has power. And that one was cool. But I also liked being there because like the Willett Studios had done the majority of those windows, but then in the back there was a whole like transept filled with Judson Studios windows too, and so to see like different styles there, it's pretty rad. Omaha, Nebraska.
Really?
Oh my God. There's this massive Nordic looking, it looked like a Viking chapel, not a chapel, cathedral. And that one had like a big like dove bursting out of the sun, which is a pretty classic image. And then also like a big ass cool King Jesus on a horse, you know? Yeah. What else? There's some interesting glass in Chicago I got to see last year.
I've seen some of that. Yeah, it's dope.
Some domes, some cool Tiffany stuff, lots of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah. I was just about to ask something. I feel like you don't really see as much like Tiffany's stuff anymore. Were you seeing more of that like in the Midwest?
I don't know if it's more or less, to be honest. Hard to say. I do feel like just sort of in the phases of the glass world, like Tiffany is recent enough that like everyone's very familiar with it, and he's the name in the glass world. So it's like everyone's trying to either do it or do anything but it, you know? And plus, like, every grandma has a Tiffany lamp somewhere, you know? Like, it's a very kind of like...
For sure.
Kitschy thing that's evolved out of that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of effort to depart from it in some ways. But I think if it's done well, it can be really beautiful. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, growing up in Texas, like, when I would see Tiffany's stuff, it's like, oh, this is, like, elegant. You know, like, this is a sign of, like, culture and, like I already said, elegance.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that now it's like, oh, it's kitschy. Like, now people are, like, trying to move in a different direction away from that.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the question everyone's kind of asking, and there's no real answer to it. You can only know by whatever you end up producing and how far you can push the medium. But like, what is glass going to do now?
Yeah.
What is it becoming?
So what are like some more unique examples that you've seen now as like, well, this is more modern. This is like stepping away from, you know, religious-based glass making. Are there any like artists that come to mind, or?
Yeah, like Judson's work with James Jean is kind of like the popular thing right now in the glass world. They're doing a geometric structure that has like, I believe they're hexagons, like in a metal frame, but it's like a really large scale project of images that are cut, like the glass is cut on a water jet machine.
Oh, cool.
So you can kind of achieve some like really detailed, large scale stuff and have that all fused together to basically render artist's work in glass. So you can take any concept and then produce it in the glass medium to give it more dimension and scale. And obviously, like, ideally you design with glass in mind as the medium, but like there's ways to start fusing mediums, literally, you know, which, yeah, I think that's where the fun comes in, is like, you know, you start collaborating where glass used to be so isolated. It's like in the old days, the whole troupe of glazers shows up to the cathedral and they set up camp right outside the woods nearby, and they do their little alchemy thing. They build the windows for a year or 10 years or however long it takes, and then they're on their way. But really, in this era of glass, it's like, let's take all of the sort of the knowledge and experience of the mediums that are doing well right now, and then work that in with the glass. And
cool.
It's becoming a much more, I think, like universal and collaborative thing.
What are some of the other like, I don't want to say mediums, but like, what are some of the other? There's glass. Like, what would you say would be like a partner to glass in this like new sort of situation?
What's also evolving?
Like, what is glass specifically evolving with? You know, it's like there's different kinds of technology. You're talking about like this water cutting technology.
Yeah.
So is there like a particular industry that's pairing with glass to take glass in new directions?
That's a great question.
I
feel like the bullseye people are the ones to talk to about that.
Okay.
I mean, on the one hand, it's like it can become like a large-scale manufacturing deal. So, for example, Oceanside Glass and Tile, they produce gorgeous art glass, but it's all like machine rolled, so it's not like the traditional European mouth-blown stuff. It's, you know, done like it's mixed in like molten form and then just rolled out on large, long sheets. So I guess like whatever the machinery world looks like, you know, might play a role there. I really don't know a whole lot about that.
Do you feel like 3D printing is gonna have any sort of like impact on glass making?
I don't know. I don't really see a connection there, to be honest. Unless it has to do with framing, building frames. But how could you 3D print glass?
I don't know. You know, it's like I understand that they can do plastics and metals. So it's like...
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. I think a lot of people are screen printing on glass.
Yeah.
A lot of people do like photo prints too. So I think in terms of imagery, like you can kind of get any imagery you want, which is exciting. I think where my brain goes with all of it is what we were talking about the other night with the Incan quipus, and then you were talking about the kentes from Ghana.
Oh, yeah.
So ways...
Oh, you looked it up or something?
I did, yeah, I did a little...
Did you find anything interesting?
Yeah, I mean, it was all interesting. I'm just a sucker for like some mythology, and so I think the story was that, I forget the name of the tribe, but there was some dudes in a tribe who were out at night and they ran into the trickster god Ananse. I don't know if you're familiar.
The spider god?
Yeah. So spiders weaving a web, and in the moonlight or the starlight or whatever, they see like these blueprints woven into the web, and Ananse teaches them how to build or like weave the kentes. And so they're like these like 4-inch wide strips essentially of the woven material that through color and shape or imagery, you know, depicts a whole story. So, you know, whether you're a chief or a wife or you got a lot of goats or whatever it is, like that, you wear your story.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty rad. So that's like a form of technology and communication, its own form of like alphabet.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is pretty mind-blowing.
Did it say in the story what the blueprints were for? Was it like...
Not in the Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, so with the Incan quipus, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right. There might be quipu, I don't know. But like, there's the two indicators of information were color and the knot sequence. So it was something to the effect of blue being for like the gods and the weather, red for men and war, gold for currency, that kind of thing. So each strand has a color, and then the knot sequences on that specific strand of the necklace would indicate sort of a quantity or quality to that topic. So it's not a written language, but another form of communication. And then you give that to the runner who's running to the next city over, and he wears the message.
That's dope.
And then there was another one. My sister just brought up how, and I haven't Googled this, so I might be just talking out of my ass, but how in the Underground Railroad system, women would weave maps into their hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so wild.
So anyways, all of that is to say, like, there are alternative forms of communication to achieve through texture, contrast, and even in glass, there's differences in transmitted and reflective light. So it looks one way when you got the sun coming in, but so a piece of glass could be orange in sunlight, and then you take it away from the light and it looks purple. So all of these things are modes of communication and information storage, storytelling.
And you're looking at all this, and it's like leading you somewhere with your own work and stuff like that. Like, you want to start incorporating certain kinds of communication or stories into your pieces?
I'd like to explore it. I feel really limited in my tools right now.
How so?
I don't have access to fusing, which I see being the easiest way to explore those kinds of things. But in theory, you could communicate like a very simple system of, say, a topographical map. Through lead lines or that kind of thing, to sequence color and light transmission, to communicate whatever sort of simple set of information. Like, you could think about it like I could try to depict a set of notes for a song in glass, so you don't hear the song, but you can kind of see the pattern or the rhythm of it. The other one I was thinking about was like local bird songs. Like, how there's like a spectrograph frequency of like, not the waveform, but like the bird songs visually represented.
What, like I'm not gonna get this right, but like the sine wave or something like?
Yeah, just the movement of the sound.
Lows?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have like I was thinking about a mourning dove. They're like coo, 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 or whatever it is. And so you see that peak, and then a little riff. And so like you could engrave that, and it would be this beautiful flow of, light passing through. And somehow that's a mourning dove. It's not, but it calls it in. Yeah.
Have you ever, and again, like, you're welcome to not answer questions. Like, have you ever done hallucinogens? So you try some stuff, and then have you ever gone into like exploring some of the ideas that feel like creatives who do hallucinogens sort of check out, like geometry being like codified information, and then that having like a relationship to frequency, which is almost like a generic term sometimes, but then when you actually get into certain conversations, it's like more specific. And then how those things sort of come together or like combine. Have you looked into that kind of information world? I sort of want to say like visual metaphysics. Have you checked that stuff out? Do you feel like there's anything there?
I think there's absolutely one or two things there. No, I think that's the work is, I have had like several pretty incredible, not several, more than several incredible experiences with hallucinogens. And so to take those, and like we were talking about with English before, feeling like there's sort of a there's a gap between what you want to communicate in English versus what's actually translated. So, yeah, having a real desire to explore the more metaphysical, not even metaphysical, because it's very rooted, very grounded things,
You feel
but
like
the
it's
imagery.
grounded?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
To translate that in a way that so okay, what I'll say is the thing about glass is when you make something, it's there and it's not going anywhere. Like in terms of lifespan, glass will outlast the half-life of any nuclear waste. So like glass could be storage for nuclear waste. And what I'm saying is my guy Don has windows that he made 20 years ago that he hates now because he has to hang on to them. They're like children, you know? So when you're working out concepts that have to do with the nature of reality and frequency, there's one part of me that's like, that's the most important thing, and that's what I should be spending all my time trying to create and relay. And then there's the other part of me that's like, wait till you have more resources, wait till you have more freedom of expression to go there.
Do you feel like it's like an inner limiting, sort of like, oh, it's not, it's like that's too much. It's like pull back. Do you feel like you're like pulling?
I feel that sometimes. Yeah, I feel that sometimes. I think it goes hand in hand with what you're saying about the architecture of cathedrals.
Yeah.
Very much the same thing, because you're dealing with color and light, which is just two different versions of the same energy frequency, you know? And so I would really like to do a lot more exploring about what that frequency is.
How do you even like get into exploring what that is? Like, how do you?
See, well, I mean, the thing is, like, I could say, oh, I know what a light spectrum looks like. I know that there's red on this end and like ultraviolet on that end, and like red wavelengths are slower than ultraviolet wavelengths. I could tell you these things, but I feel like I don't really have a true grasp on what that is.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I don't have a grasp
You know?
on that. That's why I'm asking, because it's like, you know, like I've done a lot of reading and had conversations around these things, and in certain conversations with specific people, it's like, oh yeah, like we're on the same page. You know, it's like this is legit.
Yeah.
But then in trying to explore it in other like areas of thought, like taking these same ideas and like translating it to art, you know, like how do you explore and navigate those things? You know, like
that is the question. Yeah. I think my hesitancy to go there is because I'm so obsessed in my inner world with that realm of reality. Yeah. That I want in my work to get the basics down first before I play with the things that I treasure so deeply. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. It's like you have concern that like because you treasure them and then like externalize them,
that I would cheapen it.
Oh, okay.
I think. Like there's again like a balance of like I don't want to make it this like big deal and it's all serious and serious shit, you know? It's like there's that, like it necessitates play, stepping into that world, and like freedom and expression, you know? So I don't want to take it too seriously, but at the same time I see myself down the road having access to different resources where I think I will be able to do it better than where I'm at right now, where I need to pay some bills, and so I'm going to build some residential windows. And I hope that the work I do right now gives me the skills and really like locks in the skills I need to, what's the phrase? Yeah, to scale up when it's time to scale up.
What do you think is like the bare minimum that you need to like make something that you feel is like cool or badass? Like, what is the bare minimum of materials and tools that you need?
A bench.
Okay.
Access to sheet glass and frit, or ways to manipulate glass out of sheet glass and into smaller portions. A kiln and some paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like the kilns that you use for glass, they're not the same as like ceramics kilns, or are they similar?
Yeah, I mean, there's different types of kilns. You could put glass in a ceramics kiln for sure. But yeah, a lot of them aren't as deep. And that really just has to do with like the airflow that comes in when you open up the lid, so the cooling rate doesn't get fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's like the problem a lot of sheet glass producers have to pay a lot of attention to, is like if the cooling isn't even and slow, then there can be like areas that are a lot weaker and prone to fracturing.
Oh, really?
Than others, so you could have a sheet that looks perfect, but then when the slightest bit of pressure is applied, the whole thing kind of shatters. So
it's very architectural to me, like, it's like you got to build it a certain way or it's going to fall apart. Yeah.
And that happens a lot, like with color mixing. Like you have a lot of like opalescent glass that looks pretty marbly, so when you have a yellow and an opal coming together, that could like say the opal is a lot more brittle than the yellow, that's two different things.
So like combining colors can also translate into how strong a piece of glass is?
Exactly. Which is why what Bullseye is doing is so revolutionary, because it is not only beautiful, but it has that structural integrity, and yeah, it'll last.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you're really interested in making things that have a lengthy time span, or it's like maybe outlast you or something like that, sort of like legacy type artwork making?
That has never been a motivation, really. No. But I think the concept that the medium does that is really intriguing. There's several pieces already that I've made that I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have made that. Like, because now either you throw it away, give it away, or whatever, but it's like, because it does last so long, you really want to put a little bit of intention into it. I think, working on that scale is almost like too overwhelming to think about, really. Like, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, that thing's still going to be around. So I actually try not to think about it.
Okay, that's fair.
At least at this point.
So like, where do you draw the line in terms of like, because I feel like glass is like something similar to like mosaics, like earlier, I don't know if we were talking about it like on the podcast or before we started recording or after we started recording. But this idea of like painting being sort of like the mainstream idea of like what art is, and painting is in this realm of like, this is fine art. And then when you get into certain mediums, there's this parallel of like, this is fine art, but it's also craft. And I feel like glass is one of those things where you can make functional things, like lamps. And to me, like, I've gotten to this point where it's like, I've always appreciated craft. So it's like, a well-made lamp can be art.
Yeah.
Like, objects can be art.
Yeah.
But I know, myself included, sometimes there's like lines that are drawn where it's like, hey, I'm trying to do more of this as opposed to something that would be considered craft. Like, I don't want to necessarily do like stained glass windows for cops or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's
Yeah.
like you're definitely trying to take things in like a specific direction.
Mm-hmm.
So like, are you opposed to doing things like, hey, like I want a computer glass made out of stained glass? Like, where do you draw the line for yourself personally? Like, I want some pet portraits.
Yeah.
You know, like-
I think what I've realized through working with glass is that while I'm like getting more comfortable calling myself an artist, I do resonate more with craftsperson because my I've seen people and experienced people who have the artistic vision and ability to just create a form or an image like that, and there's like a transmission there that happens where I'm more interested in the process of building out those images rather than being the one to produce them. So in terms of like street art, fine art, you know, those kinds of distinctions, like I'm really interested in working collaboratively with people to help facilitate making the thing, primarily in glass, you know. And if I have time, effort, energy to create my own designs, I'm all about it. I'll totally do it. But yeah, my interest is in building.
Okay,
you
cool.
know? And I
Yeah.
think that's different for different people in the industry.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, I'm a glass painter, you know, or you could specialize as a glazer, or, you know, whatever it is.
Glazer.
A glazer. Yeah.
Well, I understand exactly what you're talking about, because like in printmaking, you know, there's people who just do production, and there's a lot of like nuance and finesse to production that I don't think a lot of people understand.
Yeah.
And you can get lost in the world of just doing production. It's its own skill set. And it's, you know, it's cool. Like certain kinds of printmaking, just the production is cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand, you know, having your mind just be along the tracks or like the lanes of how to bring something to completion, you know, just the physical aspects.
Yeah.
But then also personally for like myself, you know, I like generation, you know, conception.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, creating and replicating textures is like, it's really inspiring. I think because it brings a level of like dimension, which is what I was like trying to get at earlier with the glass, the depth to the art that I don't really know a whole lot about, but like I think personally I've really enjoyed like just the process of getting comfortable with the tool in my hands and learning that tool, loving that tool, learning how to shoot with my left, you know, like get good with the clippers in your right hand and then get good with the clippers in your left hand too, you know? And in that sense it's like my avenue into where I'm learning how to draw or like learning how to hold a paintbrush or whatever is more so in my relationship with that as like my implement or my tool, so much as like what comes out of it. More process than result, I guess.
How much does like technology come into like your workflow? Like, do you use a lot of digital components in generating things? Like, do you use certain kind of programs? Do you use like any sort of like tablet or anything like that? Like, what is your...
Typically I start with a sketch.
Okay.
And then I will translate that sketch in Adobe Illustrator into a vector. And in that space I just work out lead lines. And
was there like a period of time where you weren't working out lead lines in Illustrator? Were you just like doing it by hand? Like...
Yeah, I mean, there were several like like sun catchers and stuff. I just like drew it up on a sheet of butcher paper or whatever.
And why do you do it in Illustrator? Is it because you can scale it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, scalability, and then also it's just fun to play with colors.
Yeah.
That way. There's a program called Glass Eye. You know about Glass Eye? I mean, it's basically like a vector manipulator, but then also you can build out a library of glass based on what you have in stock, you know, get pictures of it, and then with that specific glass and texture, where it is in the light or whatever, you can input that into the design, so you can actually see a clearer picture of what it's going to look like versus, oh, I just want green here, so I'll pick a green swatch and throw it in. It's like, no, I have this one sheet of glass with a unique pattern and texture, and I'm going to put that like digitally in. So yeah, there's some cool programs out there, but like people use Inkscape, people, you know, use whatever typical drawing mechanisms there is. And then like the water jet technology is pretty great, you know, because you can...
So you've used it?
I have been assisted in using it. Yeah. I have this little like thing hanging from my rear view. It's like a cutout of California, and it did great, like cutting out all the coastal grooves. It can do anything, which is beautiful. But then, you know, it's like, it just depends on what your priorities are, because if you value the handcrafted element of stained glass, that like no two pieces are ever the same, and you take that all the way out, you're like, yeah, I want to hand draw the pattern, I want to cut the glass by hand, I want to do all these things, and that's really cool. But I think like yeah, there's a lot of fun ways to play with like Illustrator and the water jet or the ring saw or whatever it is that don't really compromise the integrity of like it being a handmade thing. Because you're still the one operating that machinery and bringing that vision into life. So, but I think what you're saying about technology is like people are using the like hashtag AI proof, you know, in connection with stained glass pretty significantly.
Are they?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's true or not, but
I don't know if it's true either.
Yeah.
Like I've never thought about it until like this conversation, but the idea of like, you know, an AI controlled robot actually like running a printing press, you know, which would be sort of ironic or comical in a weird way.
Yeah.
But like,
so I think with AI, there's the potential that like, what we would call like a computer or a machine could do the work for sure. But at that point, you're kind of like, why?
Well, I'm already like, why? So, you know, I don't think it's a matter of like, why for me.
Okay.
Because I like, you know, handcrafted things. And like, I really appreciate things in my like personal life that have a narrative attached to them. And I think a lot of art collectors are the same. Like they want to know the stories behind things. But you know, regardless of what I and what like a portion of the market likes, you know, there's this big push for this technology to do all these different things.
So I could see that serving a need, I'll put it that way. Like one of the reasons why I left Willet was because of the shift from traditional stained glass work to exclusive contracts for the LDS Church. And I just didn't feel comfortable supporting that with my work, you know, even though like you could say technically I'm just a craftsperson, I'm just learning my skills, doing my job. I just felt really uncomfortable under that leadership. But they're building like 30 new temples a year. It's like the fastest growing, you know, religion.
Really?
And so if you have temples of that scale and intricacy, and say everyone has like, oh, I don't even know the number, but say there's like 200 windows or 500 windows or whatever it is, yeah, it would be really beneficial for them to be using AI to make their windows, because
you think so?
Yeah, I mean, my team is just one team of one studio, you know, that's piece by piece putting these little scraps of glass together, and that's really slow for their rate of expansion.
Oh, yeah.
We were booked out like years, you know, with contracts. And yeah, I don't really know a lot about their motivation or what they value, and is like art versus just decoration. But that's one avenue I could see, like pursuing more mechanized technology, serving some kind of need.
So like this is like an instance where it's like you're sort of guaranteed work. You know, it's like this is gonna pay the bills, but you chose to like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna opt out, like I'm gonna go in a different direction. So it's like, even though you're talking about like you really love helping facilitate and produce, it's almost like you have another lane that you want to pursue as well. Like,
yeah, that was a more like a organizational decision. Like, I was under the impression arriving at the apprenticeship that I was gonna have more room creatively to explore. Where like after 6 months of sort of doing the rounds, I did some restoration, I did some pre-production, I did some post-production, you know, I kind of like experienced the major facets, and then once they saw my skill set, they plugged me in where they needed, where the production need was the biggest, which means that I'm glazing new, like vaguely Victorian decorative style windows for temples, and in that specific studio, my coworkers were incredible, you know, but the leadership valued my energy going into production more than me learning anything. And so while it did like pay some basic bills and it was secure, there's definitely security there, I just had no interest in staying in that position because I didn't see any opportunity to grow at the rate that I wanted to. But, it would just be like, you know, every couple months you would start windows for a different temple. But then within that temple, every single window would be a variation on the same pattern, same glass, same lead profile. So I'm thinking, if I do, say I do 6 residential windows in a season in San Diego, each design is going to be specific to that house, to the people who own that home, to their vision, and like there's so much more room to explore styles and materials in that space than there is elsewhere. That's just what I was thinking.
That's dope. Like, one of the things, like, I think like this whole conversation relates to 2 or 3 questions I asked myself going into this project. Like, one of which being like, how can, and this is something I'm trying to find out for myself, like, how can art and creativity be used as like a service? Like, how can I offer my creativity as a service? And it sounds like with the houses, like, first I just want to pose the question to you, like, how do you feel like art and creativity in your own, I don't know, I'm drawing it out, you know, it's like, how can you see it as like a service from your abilities and talents?
Two main things pop up in my head. The first is, on a really basic level, I think encountering the light can be really mesmerizing.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, a lot of us here in San Diego are solar powered people. We experience a lot of good sun. That's a gift. But I think what stained glass does, or has done for me, is that it channels your focus to a very specific scale and transmits that light in a way that almost acts as like a portal, where you're, like we were talking about earlier, your sort of perception and even your physiology can sort of just like take a beat,
Yeah.
and whether there's an image there or not, like a sort of a pictorial image, like your experience of the light can be a very dramatic thing. And so in terms of service, like that's kind of one avenue. In terms of service, it's like I want to give people a meaningful, precise moment with the light. And especially if that is in your home or your small business or whatever it is, a way to sort of dignify the space and to elevate the way people move in that space and see in that space, I think is, that could be really cool to explore. I think the other service is that, like, it's not so much particular to the glass, but if you're working on a commission, say, or a collaborative project, you know, building a window is kind of a detailed process in terms of, okay, we're working through a design, we're selecting glass, we're getting that glass together, we're preparing the window for installation, and you sort of walk through a creative journey with people. And there's a lot of opportunity to explore what creativity is and what craftsmanship is in a world where, like, sometimes those conversations don't really come up too often.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think, like, personally, coming from a world where things were pretty regimented and you kind of just, like, work the job to save the money, to have the family, to retire, to travel when you're old. You know, there's like a very specific life trajectory and like box that you live in. And anyway, I can share my work to help people sort of see differently, think differently, feel differently. You know, I'm all about
like
that.
Mind expansion, like perception expansion.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it that. I don't mean to be too like high and mighty about my work because it's really nothing like that. But like, room for people to explore their own creative space, even if they don't think that they're creative people. If me sharing about glass can give someone just an ounce of like excitement or like a spark, cool.
Yeah, I rock with that. Because I feel like everybody's creative. You know, it's like we all just like use our creativity in different ways.
Yeah.
And also, like, I think people have like such limited definitions of what creativity is. And also I think there are people who are very like anti-creative, but you know, it's like it can be applied to anything. But yeah, I just think it's the culture. So
yeah.
Also I feel like you know, stained glass is typically like used in religious spaces. Yeah, there we go. And in the past those were sort of designed to create like peak experiences. And
to brainwash sometimes.
You know, sometimes a peak experience can be brainwashing.
Yeah.
You know, like I've had my own like how to say, like attraction to certain kinds of currents of thought because of experiences. You know, I don't want to like condemn any of that. But I was just sort of curious, it's like you've had your own peak experiences and it's like it seems like you're trying to translate some of that into the art. And what I hear is like maybe the idea of some point instead of like right now. You know, like if you were to go about trying to translate some of the feeling of peak experience into objects, like do you know where you'd start?
Yes and no. So I think on one level, scale has a lot to do with translating that, because when I am building a 12 by 12 piece, that just, it can't capture your experience in the same way that a 12-foot by 12-foot window can captivate your imagination. And like, I think that's part of what I mean about resources, is part of what the church has done with glass is make it big. And the Instagram hobby artists just don't have access to that kind of stuff. So in communicating peak experiences, I think I would start by synthesizing or trying to harmonize what you're talking about earlier in the iterations of how the frequency presents. It presents through waveform, it presents through sound, and it presents through color, and then it presents through like densities. And so, okay, so like people who have, say like synesthesia or whatever, there's like...
Where you can see colors and stuff like that?
Yeah, music notes, you know, take on certain color characters. To be able to, and this is exactly what we're talking about with the communication and energy transmission. I would like to be able to harmonize some of those elements that kind of creates coherent communication through light, color, and what exactly that message is, I don't think I don't have it. I don't have, this is the thing that I want to say, but I know that it would take place on a larger scale that I'm working on right now. And for example, like the painting I was working on, it's like images, the Vitruvian Man, a panther, that kind of thing. I don't think that's what I want to be doing. I think I want to use the color and the shape of the glass to translate into an experience. I know that sounds so vague.
I can like touch on what you're talking about. It's like when I'm very interested in creating narrative work and stuff like that. I like telling stories. And when I was getting into printmaking, it's like I had an idea of like, like symbolism. You know, one picture is able to talk about a lot of different things at one time. You know, one symbol can translate like a lot of ideas. So it's like, how do you go about crafting your own symbols and stuff like that? Like, how do you condense like the ability to, you know, like say a lot into just one thing? So like when you're borrowing other like symbols or icons, it's like you're learning the language of symbols. You're learning how to like talk in those different ways. And while you're still exploring like what you want to say, like you're learning the language.
Absolutely. Yeah. And once you said that, I'm thinking, I led with scale, but I really don't mean that scale is everything. I think you can do some really powerful stuff in a more condensed form.
Well, for sure,
but like if you are thinking about like creations of different alphabets or scripts.
Like languages and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Do you speak multiple languages?
No.
Yeah,
I do not. I do not. I took so many years of Spanish in school.
You seem like someone that would like speak French, low-key.
Thank you. No, I would like to believe that I will get there. I believe that I will get there.
Yeah, one of my goals is to like get into Spanish this year. Like I was trying last year. Now it's like I just for sure need to set aside specific time, like scheduled time. Because I really want to do more exploration into Mexico and see what's down there. But also I just like Spanish, you know. Love Mexican food.
Yeah, I think Rene Almanza has a show at the end of summer. I don't know if you know his work.
I know.
But
Where's that going to be
that's
at?
a Oaxaca show.
In Mexico?
Yeah,
Oh. Are you going to go down there?
pretty sure.
Oh, cool.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't have a date yet, but that's a good excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like what we're like we keep coming back to is the like concept of expanding the way you think
Oh, yeah.
in the medium. So like people who speak multiple languages, I think, are probably just like more creatively able to navigate the world. I think so, because it's like when English dictates your understanding of what you see and experience, that's like a really limited scope. But to not only have different vocabulary, but different grammatical approaches to communicating what you see and experience, I think there's like a fluency and a freedom in thought. And I think like what I really value more than anything right now is just the freedom to create and explore. So to me, like creativity is like your ability to make connections. And I think if you know multiple languages, you probably have an easier time navigating, making connections.
I can see that. Like,
Maybe that's too romantic. I don't know.
I mean, I rock with it. Like, I like the idea of like romantic thinking and poetic thinking. You know, it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then, just how I'm thinking about it, like in the sake of this conversation, is like when people talk about like mediums, like their own language and stuff like that. Do you feel like, because I think you're a really good drawer. You know, I think you're really good.
Thank you. Wow.
And it's like, so in my mind, you're able to draw really well and you're able to do glass well. So do you feel like drawing better enables you to make better glass? You know, since you speak these two different languages?
Yeah, I think they both inform each other for sure. Yeah, people like say in the glass world like paint, draw, you know. I think in some ways it feels like there's a big disconnect between those two worlds in my head. But I think where it does connect is I came up with a very limited view of what art was. I think, like we were talking about with painting, I thought art was depicting things in a realistic way, and like the better and more detailed, like or the more embellished and realistic the painting or drawing or rug or whatever it was, then the more dignity it had as a piece of art. And especially since like being a part of 8 Till 8 and just here more so as an adult, I'm just realizing that it's about freedom and confidence and expression. Or not even confidence so much as just walking through the inhibition of like overthinking creation and just putting pen on paper and whatever comes out and being delighted by that. Being very pleased that like your hand moves, and this is how my hand is moving right now. So in that sense, exploring my like creative flow on the piece of paper has given me some freedom to be like, oh yeah, whatever happens with the glass is that same deal, Is it? Because
I feel like it goes so much more into just drawing. Drawing is like, you don't need a lot of materials. It's widely available. Glass seems like a little bit more precious, and like at the same time you're talking about like, oh, if I had more resources, so it's like,
sure,
do you still have that same attitude? Like, Legit?
The attitude of experimentation, for
Oh,
sure.
cool. That's dope.
Yeah. Well, because I think it's so easy with glass to get in your head about like I have to choose the right piece of glass and I have to cut it properly and I have to yada 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 because it's valuable, quote unquote, material. But that's like the biggest inhibition to making anything is like taking it too seriously. You know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's like totally contradictory to what I was just saying earlier about like not creating what I have a vision to create until I have more resources. I don't know. But I think at the very least it's given me just a little bit more like permission for myself to just try shit. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, when I was in school, like, because, like, printmaking was definitely something that was, like a game changer for me. Like, there's a lot of emphasis to, like, try a bunch of different stuff and then really, like, gain mastery in one thing. And I was just like, nah, fuck that. Like, I want to go for this. But at the time, like, I didn't really see how they could influence each other, you know? How, like, learning something in one could, you know, make the main thing better.
So I see you painting and drawing. I see you printing.
Yeah.
What's the scope of your mediums?
So it's like, you know, like I've tried a lot of different stuff. I still think of myself as a printmaker, even though I don't do like a lot of printmaking right now. You know, like I learned mosaics from my mom. I learned like faux finish painting and like a little bit of mural painting from a previous employer. I've done plenty of sculpture work and stuff like that. Drawing and illustration is something that's always been interesting to me. But I've always felt like sort of lacking in that. But now I'm just like trying to lean into what I naturally do and just do more of it. And low-key writing, you know? Low-key like filmmaking.
The short film you did about Just Draw a couple months ago.
Oh, the YouTube?
Or last year, yeah.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Oh, thank you, dude.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I want to get into, because I wanted to be like a filmmaker when I was young, but through like a course of events, like it just got derailed.
Okay.
And also just like how my mindset used to be when I was younger. Like I was very much of like you either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
Not like things are something that you can develop with time.
Yeah.
And like I'm very interested in getting back into film, but trying to make it as like fun as possible. And YouTube is sort of going to be like an experimental ground for me to do that kind of stuff in. It can be difficult to keep it going.
Yeah. Consistency?
Yeah. Well, part of consistency for me has been like technology.
Yeah.
And feeling like limited by technology.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the shit is not working or it's slow as fuck.
You can't get the export.
Yeah, or your shit is outdated, or your shit breaks down, or you just don't have the shit. And recently, like I made an affirmation for myself. It's like I can still make an abundance of great work despite not having the technology or using the technology that I do have.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's just having me think about how to create systems, which is sort of weird, you know, like a management type thing for yourself. Like, oh, how can I make a system to help assist me in generation?
Yeah, like what are my SMART goals or whatever.
SMART goals.
Yeah, measurable milestones. I hear that. I mean, it reminds me of that Oh, I think it's like a Rick Rubin quote, you know?
Yeah.
I think he said like the conditions are never right,
Yeah.
you know? And
Well, sometimes they are.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But usually it comes on the heels of a lot of inhospitable conditions. Yeah. What you working on right now?
So I've been working on stickers, and like I'm trying to think of stickers as like, because stickers is like a combo of like iconography, like graphic design and illustration for me, and typography is something I'm trying to learn more about,
Okay.
because there's so much subtlety in typography,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of communication in it.
Yeah.
And just like the right pairing of like images and type and like colors and texture.
As an experiment, can you break down the City of Oceanside Police logo on the side of the car for me right now? What is that communicating?
I'm not like a design master, bro. I'm not like a, like I do design.
Such a shitty gradient too.
But it's like it's cop colors,
Right,
you know?
right.
It's like
It communicates
they love
the
blue.
thing. Yeah.
I feel like if you stray too far, it's like you're not showing yourself to be police.
Yeah.
But it's nice that they have like a little sunset, you know?
Right, City of Oceanside.
Have you seen better? Have you seen like great cop graphics?
No. Do you remember when they tried to do the lowrider thing?
I was
it was
not
like
here.
last year, 2 years ago. Oh my god.
What, lowrider undercovers?
Not even an undercover. It was just like a collab, like a lowrider cop car. Horrifying.
No, that's bad.
Yeah.
They need to do like a monster truck. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You want to do something with power, you know?
A little more authentic, huh?
Yeah, you need some like truck balls.
Yeah, it's just something that dangles.
Cop balls, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And those have like a particular like color gradient on them or something like that. Like a nice ombre.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, white to blue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to buy some like cop design truck nuts?
No, there's nothing in me that resonates with that.
What if they're like American flag colored? I
Yeah,
would totally get some like American flag colored truck nuts that were like cop. Just like the ridiculousness
how much
of
would
it.
you pay for those?
About $20.
$20. Yeah.
Yeah, 15, 20 bucks.
$10 per nut. Yeah, that sounds
10 a
right.
nut? Yeah.
Yeah, I think like, if anything, what you're talking about with lettering,
Yeah.
it's like maybe just taking a little shovel and digging deeper. Like literally everything I see is like the process of what, like I've been doing it with glass, but it's teaching me to do it with everything. Like when I see this logo here on the side of the car, it's like it's a shape and a color and a word, but it's like a whole it's a whole history
Oh, for sure, yeah.
and a whole spirit and a whole energy there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like either you choose to see it or you don't. And so it's like trying to shift into this mindset where I am choosing to interact with what I'm perceiving in a more meaningful way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel you. I was listening to someone, they were talking about, you know, like keeping a journal for that kind of stuff. Like I've heard it from different perspectives. It's like a creative journal. It's like anytime you ingest anything in terms of like content, or like you watch a video, you listen to music, like you write about it in your creative journal, trying to like break down how it's made. And then I've heard another one where it's like you think about everything like a business. So it's like you have like a creative business journal where you take down like observations that you make throughout your day, and you relate it to the perspective of a business. So I think, that's fascinating.
Have you been doing that?
I don't do that shit. I mean, like, I definitely try to write a little bit about the things I listen to and the things I watch. Just so I can understand, because I feel like a lot of the times when you're like watching something and it makes you feel a certain way. But then when you take time out to write about it, it's like you understand a little bit of the nuance sometimes. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize it was making me feel like this. Or it's like, I didn't realize like this was going on, even if it's for like a split second. Or I really like this, and it's because of these elements. And I prefer those. It's like writing about the things that like I really like, instead of just trying to break it down from like a critical sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't know if you ever follow any like people who are just like critics and then transition into like being creators.
I haven't watched that pipeline. No.
Oh, you haven't? I'll follow you.
But I mean, just the words kind of say it all, right? Like, I don't know. So that reminded me of when I learned in college that like the word amateur.
Yeah.
It like, we have this idea that it just means like someone who's not very good, not a professional.
Yeah.
But like the root is love, the
really?
love of the thing. So
cool.
An amateur is someone who is like dedicated to the thing, to the practice, to the
Love of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Take our words back.
Yeah, I am an amateur, damn it. When I write, sometimes I like will be in seasons of writing out my dreams. And so I wake up with like a couple, so I mean, sometimes more, sometimes less, but like a couple vignettes of like either images or sequences. And so when I start writing, there's like some things that are like very prominent, but then I'll find that I spend more time at things that I thought I would just be able to like cruise right past, or that was like a side detail. All of a sudden it's like taken 6 sentences to map out. And I think that's really interesting, is like when you start the writing process, things just start revealing themselves as like what is priority, what is love, what is what takes up more space. And you can't lie about that, really, like when you're just doing an automatic writing flow or whatever.
Like, so another thing like I'm curious about is like, I feel like stained glass is something that's definitely used in terms of creating space. And like, I'm just generally curious about like making a space. Because, like, how do you make like a studio space? Like, how do you make space for yourself so you feel like you can be expressive and authentic? Like, how do you make space in conversation to just, whatever your intention is for conversation? Do you feel like making stained glass has led you into like a lot of consideration into how to make space and stuff like that? And
yeah, it's definitely like crystallized. It's crystallized a lot. My sort of obsession with carving out space definitely predated my glass obsession. I think when I was in early high school, I went through a John Steinbeck phase and read all of his books. And my favorite one was Tortilla Flat, and that's the one where there's just a couple homeless dudes who post up with their friend who's got a spot on Tortilla Flat by the sea. And I just kind of started letting the idea of like having a space where I could host my people. It was rumbling around in my head and became pretty important to me. And as I started exploring my creativity, that naturally became like, how do I use my art to provide hospitality for people? I don't exactly know who those people are, but like that was the concept. And in my head, I always just labeled it tortilla flat.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So if you ask anyone who's spent any time with me, they'll know that like my outside of glass, my heart has always been set on creating some sort of retreat center, some sort of hostel, some sort of space where people are free to explore their creative expression and can get fed. And I think where I see that happening right now is like studio space.
Okay.
The concept of like an artist retreat center is in my head, but the other shift that's happened in that sort of framework for me is like, I always thought of like a retreat center or a residency or whatever as like sort of this a place away from the city, you know, a place where there's space and sky. And I think that option is really cool, but the older I get, the more I'm thinking that like what happens in the city is like kind of more of the energy that I want to tap into as well. So it's like when you think about space, you think about taking up space, but it's like, how can you facilitate this meaningful hospitality and creation in more condensed spaces where you don't have to build an estate and you don't have to buy acres and acres of land, but you can somehow do that, you know, right here on Coast Highway, you know, wherever.
Do you ever think about it like, if you were providing those kind of services to one customer and that customer was yourself and you're starting right now with what you had, like what would you start with? Like, you know, like how would you provide service to yourself with what you have right now?
That's a beautiful question.
Thanks.
Yeah. I think about it in terms of my breathing, to be honest. Yeah, like just my ability to feel safe in my body, you know, because like there's a lot of like trauma that produces art, but I think a lot of creativity happens when people feel free to create.
Yeah.
And so when I feel like at home in my body and grounded is when I feel I'm able to, you know, start doing shit. So yeah, breathing for sure. And I was even thinking about that today, like I mentioned earlier, not knowing, you know, what my future holds. It's like, yeah, I'm staying with my sister right now. I don't have a place locked in. And where that used to create insecurity, now it's like I literally got out of my car, moved some clothes around in a bag that I had in my car, and was like, I feel so at home right now because the flow of the day was spending some time with family, talking about art and creativity with Taylor, going to the recording studio later, tapping in with some friends and some mentors. And that's home to me, is like having a day, literally just the one day that all those elements that I value are there. And that's what I would like to be able to provide, is like, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, but it has to be high quality, you know?
Yeah, and only you can understand like quality, you know?
Yeah, but I think like the collaborative element is, I keep coming back to that, like what I see happening in this hypothetical space at Tortilla Flat is it's me being free to make my work, but also making sure my friends are fed.
That's dope.
You know?
Yeah.
There being music, like whatever it is that makes the generative energy accessible.
So do you make music?
I have a steel tongue drum that I bought this.
Yeah, so we ran out of battery, and I don't know where it ran out, but I'm gonna stitch it back together.
All right. We were looking at the Supreme stained glass shirt.
Do you ever think about like doing graphics like that? Like, you know, taking stained glass sort of like style and applying it to different kinds of things? Like,
yeah. What I would like to do is create set releases and kind of use the central image of the stained glass and make the piece, but hopefully do like a large scale version and then maybe a medium scale and several small scale iterations of it, maybe with variation, but then also as I release those, do it alongside a like set of the sketches that went with it, do some liner cuts of that image as well, and whatever adjacent pieces I can create with that concept.
Okay, cool.
And ideally there would be music involved as well, you know, and that would be a really beautiful thing to integrate if there's a way to replicate music in glass, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah, but definitely.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I mean, glass can be expensive, and that's not accessible for a lot of people. So to be able to do small scale versions that are more accessible, or just the sketch, you know, buy it, or not even buy, but just, you know, have a copy of the sort of origin of the idea. You know.
That's cool.
Yeah, which goes back into the like sharing the creative process with people. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, which is yeah, I think I've used the phrase mind blowing a lot, and you know, but no, I think what's expanded like my thinking about art is like reprioritizing outcome versus process, you know.
Really?
Yeah, very
Really?
much so. Which is why I'm not too concerned about like I can't really articulate what that depicting the peak experiences look like or depicting the psychedelic experiences. I know that I want to do that, but I think for my journey and my personality, going through iterations of glass pieces that help me work out what that is going to be way more important than whatever comes of any of those, you know, whether or not people resonate with them, but just playing with, you know, how to cut glass over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That'll get me there.
Cool.
You know?
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever like make mock-ups of like what would be the finished piece, like in sketching or like digitally?
You mean like for customers, like doing? Yeah, absolutely. Like in the industry, they usually do watercolors.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they do what they call like luminaries. So they'll put like the watercolor on like some plastic or vinyl or whatever, and have that light transparency come through. So it's like, an image of what the stained glass on a small scale would look like.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that could be a piece of the set as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, cool. Do you want to talk about anything else before we like wrap it up?
I think you touched on a lot of it. I think, no, I'm just grateful that you opened up this space.
Oh, for sure, dude.
I think if anything, talking long format about sort of some of the pieces of the process are just really making me aware of like how much I don't know, you know.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, obviously I know I don't know a lot, but
I know I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful though. Thank you.
Oh, for sure, dude.
you.
Like,
Yeah.
it's fun for me. Like,
Yeah.
I like talking shop.
I'm really stoked to see what you do with this project.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It'll be cool. Like, do you want to come back on and do like another one, like maybe like in a few months or something?
I'd
or?
love to. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just see what's going on with you, and then yeah, dope.
Absolutely.
So again, like, where can people? You have your website. What's your website?
Lighten Glass, Lighten glass.com.
And are you accepting like commissions or anything like that?
I am. I am booked for like a couple through the summer, basically,
Oh,
right
sweet.
now.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. But as I work out my schedule and my flow, I'll kind of see like, yeah, what scale of collaborations I can kind of do in the interim alongside the more professional work. Because ideally, you know, I have a segment for industry work, a segment for like residential or small business commissions, and then a segment for like collaborations that aren't focused on like money making or any of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like very open to. I'm really excited to explore that, you know, at any point in time. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then, so when your commissions open back up, like, how can people get a hold of you? Like, what's the best way? Do you have like an email that you use specifically? Or
Yeah. So that's all. It's all on the website. There's
Okay,
like
cool.
a contact form and everything.
oh, dope.
Or just like a DM on Instagram.
Okay. And what's
Yeah.
your IG handle?
It's 2 underscores, 2 B's, an E, 2 L's, and an E. So it's __ Bbell, and then it ends with another underscore.
Okay.
Yeah, Bbell.
Sweet.
Yeah. So the portfolio's there, the link is there, and yeah, that should be it.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show,
Thank you, Taylor.
and look forward to the next time that you get to come through. Yeah, that's the wrap.
Catch you on the flip.
Cool.